Hello everybody, my name is Simon Lewcraft and welcome to this training. This is safeguarding training for the academic year 2023 to 2024. This training forms part of our statutory obligation to ensure that all staff receive an annual update on their safeguarding training. This training is for all staff, including teaching staff, support staff, external staff, governors, as well as midday supervisors, exams invigilators and more. Welcome to this training. Just to introduce myself a bit further, my name is Simon Lewcraft. I'm the lead assistant head teacher for pastoral care and I'm the designated safeguarding lead here at All Saints. So I would be your first port of call for all things safeguarding should you have any questions or concerns about our students. Also, you'll find out later on in this presentation that there are other members of staff that are DSL trained whom you can also go to with any questions or concerns you have regarding safeguarding matters here at All Saints. On this slide, I've taken the trouble to share with you our mission statement, and what I would like you to do is just reread that mission statement. Hopefully by now, certainly for our existing staff, but hopefully by now for our new staff, you should have started to become familiar with this mission statement. Now what I would like you to do is just ask yourself two questions. One, first of all, how do you fulfill and meet this mission statement in your day-to-day duties in whatever role it is you do here at the school? And two, ask yourself how you fulfill this mission statement with regards to safeguarding. Big part of our job as educators and working in a school is that of safeguarding, the responsibility of safeguarding all those young people within our care. So when you're reading this mission statement, ask yourself not only how do you fulfill it within your role, but also how do you fulfill it with regards to the safeguarding responsibilities you have as a professional. Just pause for a moment there whilst you are reading that. A key theme for this training is building on the exceptional practice that we have here at All Saints. That is a focus for us this year. You will see on this slide an excerpt from our recent Ofsted inspection of March 2023, and in particular I'd like you to read this section. Staff use the clear safeguarding systems to report concerns about pupils. Pupils say they have a trusted adult they can speak to, and leaders have ensured pupils know how they can report concerns. Safeguarding records show that leaders follow up on concerns about pupils thoroughly. Now, that highlights the practice, the effective practice we already have in place. We have a strong safeguarding culture, and that's because our staff feel very confident in identifying potential safeguarding issues in young people and are confident in reporting those concerns, and we have effective systems in place to ensure those concerns are followed up. This was noted by Ofsted, and it is absolutely vital we maintain at the very least and build upon this exceptional practice. So that should be the focus of all stakeholders, all staff members, regardless of your position. One of the key features of our exceptional practice here at All Saints is that we have a culture of vigilance. It is absolutely important that we maintain this culture of vigilance and that all staff remain professionally curious. It is vital that all staff assume that abuse could happen here. Now that's because it does, that we do have students that experience all categories of abuse as listed on this slide. It is important that we remain confident and able to look out for the signs of these abuse, and in particular changes in the young person, what you might notice in their day-to-day appearance, in their day-to-day behaviour, or in their day-to-day communication. If something changes, it is important that we say something, and we do that here at All Saints. Our staff are very good at reporting any concerns regardless of how serious. One of the things that the Ofsted inspector remarked is that staff are confident at reporting something. So it is vital that if you see something, no matter how small, you say something. Just want to share with you this excerpt from Keeping Children Safe in Education 2023. It states here that staff should share any concerns they have about a child with the DSL. However, it should be remembered that sometimes children will not feel ready or know how to tell someone they are being abused, exploited or neglected, and/or they may not recognise their experiences as harmful. This should not prevent staff from having a professional curiosity and speak to the DSL. So that excerpt there from the national guidance highlights the importance of staff speaking up. We do that here in All Saints. We're very good at it, and it is important that we remain vigilant, we remain professionally curious, and if we notice the things, the changes in young people, regardless of how small, it is important that we do report this to a designated safeguarding lead. As part of remaining vigilant and staff assuming that it could happen here, I've included on this slide a list of adverse childhood experiences, and it is important to note that currently, and certainly at a time of All Saints School's existence, every single one of these adverse child experiences has been felt by a student here at All Saints. So it is a reminder to remain vigilant and be aware of changes in behaviour. In particular, pay attention to those small things, changes in A, B, C. Spot signs of child abuse by changes in a young person's appearance, by changes in their behaviour, by changes in their communication. They might not feel confident in revealing what's going on to you, but these may be the signs of one of these things or some of these things occurring for them as a young person. So you have a safeguarding concern about a young person. What should you do? Well, no matter how big or small the concern, you should report your concern. You do so on an orange form. These orange forms are available in Lisa Irvine's office or in the staff main office. If you cannot locate an orange form, please do ask any member of SLT and they'll happily direct you in the right way and will find a form for you. When you have filled this form in, it is vital that you pass this form, hand deliver it to one of our DSL trained staff. Firstly, in the first instance, should be to myself as designated safeguarding lead, and if, in my absence, to any of the deputy designated safeguarding leads you see listed here. What you should record is what you have observed. I'm going to go through a little bit more detail now about how to record your concerns correctly. First, it is important to note that you may be recording something that's not been disclosed by a young person. It might just be what you've observed in their ABCs. Something's changed in their appearance, their behaviour or in their communication. You might have just noticed a small change in the pattern of how they are arriving to school. They might be starting to become late, their uniform might appear unkempt, they might appear tired. A change in their behaviour is a safeguarding concern and should be reported. When you are reporting anything, please be mindful that you should be child-centred. Your approach should be child-centred and not personally driven in any way. If a child has disclosed something to you, they felt confident enough to disclose a concern to you that may be seen as a safeguarding concern, it is important to do the following things. Avoid making promises that you cannot keep, such as telling someone else. You can't promise that, particularly if the student needs a safeguarding support from a DSL or a referral made to the local authority. Don't ask leading questions or jump to conclusions. Avoid speculating or making accusations. Try to avoid displaying any disbelief. You should take on board what they're saying as truth and record what they're saying verbatim. Don't delay an immediate response. This is paramount in ensuring that young people are protected. When you have completed your orange form, which should be immediately after the disclosure, it's vital that you deliver it that day, that moment, to a DSL. When a child is disclosing something to you, don't act shocked or disgusted. And remember, it's not your responsibility to decide whether an allegation is true or not. More on how we record and document our concerns. There is nothing new to see here. This again is maintaining and building on the exceptional practice of safeguarding that we already have in place here at All Saints. When you are recording your concerns, make sure that they are fact-based, not opinion-based. Record the facts, record the changes in the young person's ABCs. Record exactly what the young person has said to you. On the orange form, record the circumstances of the disclosure. Explain when it happened, explain the observation that you made. Record the catalyst of the disclosure. What was it that the young person decided to disclose to you? Well, what was the reason the young person decided to disclose information to you? Record accurately the words used by you and the words said by the child. That helps to prevent any misinterpretation by over-embellishment or under-representation. It's important to document any visible injuries, however insignificant, and that includes any ABCs you see, recording the changes in the day-to-day behaviour, appearance and communication of the young person. And I'll say once again, it is vital that you deliver the orange form to myself as DSL or any of the deputy DSLs immediately. This section of our training includes the national updates for safeguarding for 2023, and in particular the Keeping Children Safe in Education document, which is produced annually, reviewed annually by the DFE. This year's Keeping Children Safe in Education has no major changes. The DFE decided that it's important to let staff continue their work and not to overload them with new changes or new developments, and as a result the Keeping Children Safe in Education document has remained largely the same. That being said, in the upcoming slides I will review the changes in place, and hopefully that will help inform your practice going forward. It is a statutory requirement that all staff must have read at least part 1 of Keeping Children Safe in Education, and for this year that's on pages 6 to page 22. You should have had this document shared with you. However, if not, it is readily available online and I've shared the link with you there. As a member of staff at All Saints, once you have read the correct pages, part 1, it's important that you complete the survey to confirm that you have read and understood your obligations as outlined in that section of the document. As promised, I'm going to summarise the changes to Keeping Children Safe in Education for 2023. A full list of these changes can be found at the back of the document in Annex S. If you'd like further detail or clarification, please do check there. The first change being to the filtering and monitoring processes that all schools should have in place. The guidance states that all staff should be clear on and receive training on the expectations on them, the applicable roles within the school and their responsibilities in relation to filtering and monitoring. It highlights that it's the DSL's responsibility, so my responsibility, to understand or to take the lead role in understanding the filtering and monitoring systems in place. It also highlights the standards, the filtering and monitoring standards that schools must meet. So in regards to the systems we employ, ensuring that they meet certain standards. Now that's outlined clearly in the guidance, and you'll be pleased to note that All Saints are already compliant. Prior to the year, we have both of these systems in place, which you may already be aware of. Now Senso is our live session monitoring software that monitors all users on our server live, and anyone who tries to access our server and anyone who uses it, it's monitoring it live. So anything inappropriate that is typed, anything that's inappropriately, any website that's inappropriately accessed, it will be picked up immediately, and myself as DSL is sent an instant notification. Other DSLs and other Senso trained staff, pastoral staff, take immediate action for students that are typing in inappropriate information or accessing inappropriate material. Now, you may have come across this as a user of our systems. Now, Smoothwall is our firewall. Smoothwall is industry leader. Both of these platforms actually are industry leaders in making sure that students cannot access websites they shouldn't. Not just students, staff also. And the firewall's in place and it blocks access to those websites. It's absolutely vital that we are aware that it's in place, but it's also important that we know that the firewall exists, but students are very clever in trying to circumvent it. Both Senso and Smoothwall are constantly updated with regards to the phrases that they are sensitive to and the websites that they are sensitive to. We are also mindful of a school to not overblock and not over-censor the internet so that students still have access to online learning. Hopefully by now you are familiar with both of these pieces of software, particularly Smoothwall, as you may have come across it when you've tried to access a website quite innocently. Some education websites are blocked. So you're probably familiar with that more so than Senso. Senso, you may see it installed on your desktop, and you may, particularly as a teacher of computer science or ICT, you will have the access to this because you'll assist myself as DSL in monitoring the live sessions of students that are using computers within your classroom. So please be aware that these two platforms exist, and be aware that we are already compliant with regards to meeting the standards, and that these two pieces of software are industry leaders with regards to filtering and monitoring. The next change to the guidance refers to children who are absent from education. The guidance highlights that practitioners, teachers and those with the direct responsibility for monitoring school attendance can and should be alert to the fact that patterns of non-attendance or periods of absence should be seen or could be seen as a warning sign to any range of safeguarding concerns, and therefore these absences should be reported to the DSL accordingly. Periods of absence can mean anything, including sexual abuse, sexual exploitation or criminal exploitation, amongst other things. The next change to the guidance refers to recruitment, and the guidance states that schools and colleges should inform shortlisted candidates for potential positions within the school that online searches will be done as part of pre-recruitment checks. The guidance also includes an update on GDPR with regards to the retention of DBS records and personal documentation, and when schools should dispose of them. The final change is concerning organisations or individuals that use school premises, and the guidance states that schools should follow their own safeguarding practices and policies, as well as making the individuals and organisations aware of those policies, including informing the local authority designated officer or LADO as and when appropriate. If you'd like to see a full list of the changes, you can refer to Annex F at the back of the guidance. In addition to this training, all staff will be required to complete online safeguarding training with the National College. Now, dependent on which position you hold within the school, whether that be teaching staff, support staff or governor, that will determine which training will be assigned to you. And when you were sent this training, you should have been sent a link to the National College and guidance on exactly which training you should complete. When you complete your online training certificate, you should send your certificates to Jazz Core on the email on this slide. At bare minimum, all staff should have completed this training I'm doing now, as well as reading pages 6 to 22 or part 1 of Keeping Children Safe in Education, and signing and completing the form to say that you have done so. Continuing the theme of building on exceptional, All school policies have been updated for the academic year 2023 to 2024. These policies listed below and the practices we adopt as a result underpin our exceptional safeguarding practice here at All Saints. So it is vital that all staff, regardless of position within the school, have read these policies and understand them. Note that these policies can be found on the staff shared area and also on the school website. So it's important that you locate them and familiarise yourself. In addition to this compulsory training that you may be taking as part of your induction or as part of our statutory requirement for teaching staff for the academic year, please do look out for upcoming compulsory safeguarding training that will be shared via the National College. This will be ongoing safeguarding CPD to keep us up to date and abreast with all things safeguarding throughout the academic year. In particular, in October we have scheduled prevent training and online safety training for all staff. Various other things will be made available throughout the year. Just to return to this slide to remind staff that at minimum all staff and governors must have read part 1 of Keeping Children Safe in Education, pages 6 to 22, as a minimum. Please confirm that you have read that in the format as described in the email from the person who sent you this training. So, to summarise, the key safeguarding takeaways for you to take with you today and into your practice working as a member of staff or as a governor here at All Saints School. Number 1, always assume that it could happen here. Adopt a professionally curious attitude. Number 2, always act in the child's best interests using, as we described earlier, a child-centred approach. Be vigilant and on the lookout for signs of abuse, and in particular, changes in a child's behaviour, attendance or appearance. Number 4, if you see something, say something. Don't sit on it, including concerns about staff and our own school safeguarding practice. Be sure to report it to a member of staff. Always make a written record, and remember you can do so on our orange forms. Remember, finally, that safeguarding is everyone's responsibility, and it's important that we maintain that culture of vigilance I spoke about earlier. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this training today. If you do have any questions or concerns, please do come and ask myself, Simon Lowcraft, DSL, or any of the other trained DSL members of staff, as I listed earlier. And also, please do ask the member of staff that sent you this email if you have any queries or concerns regarding the training itself. Thank you very much.